Hey, thanks for tuning in. We are LivingFit, your trainer's trainer. We not only have education courses for trainers to upgrade their game, but we have full-on follow-along programs, workouts, exercise breakdowns, nutrition plans, and fitness equipment for you to reach your fitness goals. Now, enjoy the show. All right, welcome to another Between Two Kettlebells with
Marcus
and Aaron. Hey, what's up? So this is LivingFit, and we have the great honor and pleasure of having Adrianne Nina here. So she obviously a dancer. If you've seen her sizzle on Instagram, and she is burning Instagram up. She's at Equinox in LA as well, and she's crushing it as a trainer, as a coach, and a mover. Adrianne. A little bit about what got you into fitness. What got you into this lifestyle?
Well, when I moved to LA from the Bay Area, which is where I'm born and raised, I was like, I better do something to help with my anti-aging, especially in this city, because everyone just seems to be like drinking the fountain youth. And so I started working out, and it was something that I just enjoyed doing. It didn't feel like a chore or anything like that nature. And the more and more I got into it, it was just like people were asking me like, oh, what do you do for this? How did you do this? Like, can you help me? And I was like, maybe this is something I should be doing as a living. And so I just got certified. And at that time I had a trainer, and I told my trainer, I was like, I want to be a trainer. And he was just like, yeah, you should go for it. And then just put in the work, took certification courses like yours just to learn more and improve my expertise. And the rest is history.
Yeah, so we met about the time when you were getting kind of launched.
Yeah.
Is that that was almost 4 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Awesome. And so did you start at Equinox, or did you start somewhere else, or where?
I mean, I started with like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So I like would pick up a client here or there, and then I still had like my day job. Yeah. And then I decided, actually, this is what I want to do full time. And then that's when I applied to Equinox, and I became a trainer there. Awesome.
Yeah. And so you obviously during like quarantine and COVID and all this stuff, it's not like, especially in California, right? It's and certain places around, it's not so easy to be a trainer in a gym setting, right? So like some of this virtual stuff is starting to come more into play and things like that. So do you do anything else? Because right now I think we're back in the position where we can't train inside of these gyms. So are you doing any other type of training, any other type of coaching?
So I do have virtual training that I offer to my clients. So that's been working out well, because a lot of my training program also works at like probably minimum weights, mostly their body weight, and then just free weights that I've already had kind of convinced them to get somewhere down the line before we went into lockdown. And then also just offering like my body weight programs that are pre-recorded to people on my website, which is known as Coordinate. So,
nice. And Coordinate is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like this mixture between core and exercises to help you be coordinated, right? To move better.
Yeah, exactly. It's a play on the word coordinate from the dictionary, but we took out one O. And so it's basically like core, C-O-R-E, and then donate. So it's really like how the body's meant to work together. Because a lot of times you'll have people wanting to isolate certain things, parts of their body to build them. And really it's like, did you really decide when you woke up that morning that your legs are going to have the day off? You weren't going to use your legs at all for that whole entire day. Yes, I just hate that. So it's like we use our whole body.
Just curls, that's all I need. Curls.
Yeah, we're only using our biceps today. That does not happen. So it's really getting people to understand like your lats and your glutes contralaterally work together, and that's going to help your core also develop and become stronger. So.
You post so much awesome stuff in terms of movement, and obviously you're very coordinated. How much of your dance history kind of makes its way into your training now, like in terms of movement, free flow, kind of play style?
I think it's just like trusting your body and being in tune with it. So if you're just like, when you're in flow, there's nothing stopping you, right? And that's the same with like a dance or anything too. And so when you're in that momentum of moving, you just kind of go with the nature of it. And I feel like that's where the dance plays into it, because it's like, when I get in the zone, you have a song that kind of connects with you. You just kind of just go. And it's not much you're thinking, but it's like more subconscious, I think, while you're doing it.
So do you have to train with music?
You don't have to train with music. You can train
like you though. Do you prefer? Yeah. Do you prefer training with music only, or do you do no music, or is there a?
I mean, it just depends on my mood. sometimes I want like something like hardcore, like gangster rap or some rock or whatever. Or sometimes I want something more classical, or sometimes I want to listen to a podcast or an audiobook, just whatever. Or even like now that I'm at home, I'll put on something on Netflix that I don't want to just sit and watch, and I'll work out in front of it, you know?
I was gonna say I can't not work out without music. Like if I sit there and try to work out without music, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like I can't. And I love training. It's still.
I was gonna say that's the funny thing. Like Marcus is music only, and I am almost exclusively no music.
Yeah.
Right. I am a weirdo in that regard.
It depends. Like when I do like my runs and stuff outside, I have friends who want to listen to like their headphones. I'm like, I love hearing the sound of the cars and like the birds chirping. So that's the one time.
Mainly so you don't get ran over by them.
I like hearing when the cars are honking at me when I'm about to, get run over.
Quiet here in nature and just hearing the breeze, the wind. That's like music to me too. Nature's music. So.
No, I think that's why I'm so no music is I really do appreciate working out outside, or even like I'll work out in my garage, but I'm out I live in the middle of nowhere now. So it's like being in nature. So I just enjoy that so much. Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. So did you originally come to LA for dancing?
No.
Okay.
So to go back, I don't want to give away my age or anything of that nature.
No, we don't.
But I went to school.
22.
I went to school at Long Beach State. I wish. I went to school at Long Beach State, and then I got a taste of what like SoCal life was in LA. And then after school, I moved back to the Bay. And after a while, I was like, what am I doing here? I need to get back to where like it feels like I need to be. And that's why I just moved to LA without really any purpose. And so I just didn't really find my calling for fitness until maybe 4 years after living here, in terms of working in it. But when I moved back, that's when I was like, I better start getting into shape. So
you moved down here and you're like, I'll just take sort of whatever job and see what happens, or did you try to drive towards a specific end and then totally shift?
So my degree is in fashion merchandising. Okay. And so I was into fashion like hardcore. So I worked in management for like a retailer, and then I've done like stuff in the buying office and worked at other retailers. But then it was in the point of working in retail that I was just like, gosh, I'm selling goods that are like thousands of dollars. And like, it's not really helping anyone. It's not solving their problems. It's actually maybe adding more to their problems. And I was just like, this is not making me feel good. So I was like, at least if I'm going to get into fitness, I can help someone. And maybe I feel like I'm doing my part to improve their life. And help them improve their life.
I feel like that is the great through line, right? In the fitness world is, every single person that I talk to, that I teach, that I work with in the fitness, it's every single one of them wants to serve, and every single one of them has this like this like major heartstring that is like this almost this altruism, right? Like I want to do something to help humanity, kind of a thing, right? I want to do better.
Yeah. Going back to the vanity side of things. So most of your clients come to you and you said the Fountain of Youth. When you said the Fountain of Youth, that's what you were kind of looking for, and you saw that in LA. What would you say to someone who wants to move better? Like what would be like the first thing that you would give them? Obviously there's a lot of factors and variables, but would it be like flow? Would it be crawling? Would it be something with kettlebells? Would it be working on your glutes? Like what would you say is like the thing?
I would say more of the crawling based flow. Getting into that, but just tell them to move more and move often. I think that's a cliche term we hear a lot in our field. But for someone who wants to move more or wants to move better, they have to move often. Because you can like crawl one day and you'll be stiff as I don't want to say any curse words here. You'll be so stiff the next day, and you kind of just have to like move into it, if that makes sense.
So move consistently.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and I mean, we talk about specific adaptations to impose demands all the time, right? And progressive overload. Well, you can't have either of those things if you don't do it. If you do it once a week or once a month, or you got to do it consistently. And so then it kind of becomes sort of a lifestyle, right? Like just moving often. And so you'd say crawling, like just basic quadruped crawling, or would you add a little Adrianne spice to it? Or
usually when I get clients the first time, I will have them get into the crab, because that's that supine position where they're opening up their chest. Everyone's like driving here or riding here or eating here. So we need to open up. And so
everybody hates you. Basically.
Yeah, they do. So it's like, just opening up getting the back more engaged. So I like to do the crab crawl or even like a contralateral, like crab dead bug that I call, but just like a heel tap, getting them used to moving in that position.
Yeah, it's so amazing, like how fast, basically anybody, you can be like high level athlete, older person, guy or girl, younger person, middle manager, stay at home mom or dad. And that usually humbles every single one of them across the board, right? Because we don't tend to get into that position, even though we probably should, because we're always in couch, computer, car, cell phone type position. Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. That's a good call for sure. More crabs.
I know, that's actually got me hard. Like while you were talking, I was just thinking like, man, I never do that because those suck so bad. Yeah. But that's such a great movement. And just crawling and groundwork is such a great way to connect with your body. And you talk about a lot of core work. Like, is that your main kind of core work is groundwork, crawling, things like that?
Groundwork and like bilateral balancing, really single leg motions and like getting to stand on one leg. Because you'd be surprised how many people aren't able to do that. People that I meet who they run on the treadmill every day, but they can't balance on their leg for 30 seconds. So I'm like, we need to work on some things there.
You got some freaky balance though. Like some of the stuff you'll post, should we do like double kettlebell snatches on like one leg? I'm watching like, no, there's like a string on her. There's something going on.
It's so crazy.
She's a green screen. People are just holding her.
It's a fake arm.
I don't know. I don't know if there's science behind it, but something I really kind of hated about my body was my feet. I have really large feet for my height. I'm 5'5" and I wear a size 9. So I think that also may come into play with improving my balance.
So you're saying that
So it has nothing to do with your training. It has nothing to do with your...
My oldest daughter will have amazing balance.
Probably.
If she's watching this 5 years from now, I'm not saying that you have big feet. You're beautiful.
I think though, for me, I'm just so hyper aware of my body. I feel like so many people, that I work with when they work with me for the first time, I notice that they're so outside of their head. They're outside of their body. So they're looking for like they might hate doing an exercise like the crab, but it makes them feel where their body is. And they're like, sometimes if we're in a gym atmosphere where it's crowded, they're like looking at everything else around it just to escape that moment of feeling. So it's really getting people more in tune with themselves.
And I don't think a client would come to a trainer not like make it easy for me. Yeah. Like nobody's signing up for easy. Yeah. And even though some days they want easy and they'll express that tirelessly and maybe annoyingly so, but I don't think anybody's coming for easy, right? And so, well, make it easy, but make me change.
Make it easy, but make it awesome and make it new and make it fresh. And
But yeah, how amazing is it to watch? And I use crab a lot as well because I'll do crawl and then I'll do crab, right? And that would, back in the day when I ran a gym, that would be the warm up. Like that's part of the warm up. We're going to do that every time. And of course, everybody hates the crab portion. Everybody hates the crawling portion too on the front. But then they realize that crabs are way worse. So then they start to appreciate the crawling. But it's amazing. It doesn't take long for them to start to see even successes and new range of motion and new neurological connection in that crab position. I mean, how awesome is that to get? And it's not early success in that it's success on the first day, but it's early success in that it's like, okay, it was 2 weeks and you can now get your butt off the ground when you do the crab.
Yeah.
Like that means you have shoulder mobility. That means you have core engagement. Your pelvic floor is now activated. I mean, there's so much that's happening there, right? Just with that crab.
I agree.
So you talk about intention. How do you stay intentional when you train? How do you have your clients stay intentional when they train? How do you get them back into into what's happening?
Usually breathing, get them to focus on their breath. So like when you're focusing on your breathing, you don't have much room in the mind to be distracted. So really just like honing that in for them. Mm-hmm. So
talk through a little bit of coordinate. Like the program. So one, how would they get involved with the program? Obviously, maybe DM on Instagram or something.
Yeah, DM on Instagram. My website, welltrainedbody.com, goes straight to there. And so pretty much, do you want me to tell you like what the premises of it is?
Exact reps and sets. And just exact structure would be fantastic.
No, pretty much what it is. It's like a play on flow. So basically it's like 3 or so exercises that you do as a circuit. And then at the end of like doing it a few times, then you put it together in a flow. So then you flow those 3 or 4 or whatever exercises in together. So it becomes that flow aspect through like single strength training moves.
And so this is like a pre-made kind of progressive program, right? Yes. Where one thing adds to the next. Okay, cool. And then do you end up spinning off and doing, like some virtual coaching or even one-on-ones or whatever from people that take the program, or is it more just wide net?
It's just wide net, but I do have people who want to do like, virtual training, which that's been fun. I like it. So, yeah. And
then you're probably diving into everything beyond even just the coordinate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's just like basically, and like with coordinate is more, it's not specific to anyone's personal goals. Virtual training, it's going to be more specific to that person's goals in that time. So,
what would be like the three big nuggets, 3 big takeaways that you notice that everybody gets from coordinate the program?
Oh, that's a good question.
They get ripped abs.
They get improved endurance, because what it is, it's just like you don't really get much of a rest period. So that's that muscular endurance. So that's going to increase weight loss and just more focus. Because it's like you kind of already thinking like when you're in that flow, you're thinking maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead.
Yeah.
As if you're like, sometimes if you're doing one exercise for so many reps, you kind of get lost in it and kind of start doing it like effortlessly, How
often do you incorporate flow into your training? Because I know you in your own training every day.
Every day, yeah.
And then you do an Instagram story of it every day.
I need to get better at that.
No, actually, I feel like you do a really good job. You're way better than me.
I've never met anyone that didn't say like, I need to film myself more. It's like everybody has to get better at this. This is our marketing.
It's really uncomfortable for me to like be out there in the streets and like selfie recording myself. So it's like I got to get over that.
The good thing is everybody's doing it. So now you be the outsider not doing it. So yeah, I mean, going back to your Instagram handle is Well Trained Body, and one thing I love about your Instagram is you kind of cover all bases. You talk about nutrition, you talk about movement, you talk about mindset, so obviously there's a lot of factors, but what would you say is one of the most important factors for someone to have a well-trained body? Like what does that mean to you?
Just consistency. And so it's like whatever you do in the gym or in your workouts, you can't let it be unraveled or undone in the rest of your day of your workout or your day of your life, So it's like if you hit it hard for an hour, but then you go back to your bad posture or your bad eating or your bad thought process, then it's like all that work you did in an hour, it's just not that effective. So it's just being more mindful, I guess is what I'm looking for. Mindful of how you are throughout your day.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so a question that we ask every single person that comes on the show is, what is LivingFit to them? And not LivingFit like our brand or whatever, but this whole idea, this whole concept of LivingFit. And the cool part is we get so many nuanced and different styles of answers or whatever. So what is LivingFit to you?
LivingFit is living comfortably, like in terms of like your body. So when we first went into lockdown, I was sitting way more than I thought, than before. I didn't realize how much I was on my feet and didn't mind being on my feet all day. So the first 2 weeks, I probably put my back out twice because my psoas got so tight from sitting so much. And I was just like, okay, this sucks, but I'm gonna keep moving through it and do a few little light somatic stretches. And I realized what I needed to undo what I had started doing. So to me, in those moments when my back was tight, I was just like, that wasn't LivingFit for me, you know what I mean? So I wanted to be comfortable in my body. That's what LivingFit is. I want to be able to get up and, turn a certain way or just stand up and go out for a run or whatever and not be in pain.
Yeah.
Not being restricted.
Yeah, no, that's a great.
In your body. I think about, how many times have they done, studies or, polls on how comfortable someone is on their body, and it's like astronomically low that someone's like, I feel very comfortable in my body. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that answers, it's cool because you had kind of a physiological answer, but that's also a highly psychological thing too, right? Like how we feel is also how we tend to move, and vice versa. How we move is how we tend to feel, right? Motion creates emotion. Yeah, I really like that. It's a great answer. Well, it has been an incredible honor and a pleasure
by having you guys.
Man, to have you on the show, to talk with you, to break down, coordinate. Yes. So people can find you at welltrainedbody.com.
Yes.
And welltrainedbody on Instagram. Those are like the main two deals. And if you're not doing coordinate, you're not cool.
Yeah, that's true. It's actually
coordinate to get the core that you want.
Right.
Ooh, that's good slogan.
Well, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Hey, for more interviews like that, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you're looking for not only those interviews, but follow along programs, exercise breakdowns, workouts, nutrition plans, and fitness equipment for your fitness results, make sure you hop on to living.fit, become a member today, and I'll see you on the next one.